My brother's wedding was meant to be one of those rare, golden moments. Something you remember for a lifetime. I had poured myself into it, helping plan every detail from the flowers to the playlist, making sure it was perfect. Alina, my wife, had been right beside me through all of it, or at least I thought she had, that night. She looked breathtaking in a pale green dress stitched with silver thread, the same one she caught me admiring weeks ago. She laughed at my jokes, smiled for the pictures, held my hand like everything between us was whole and untouched. She played the part flawlessly. But the truth was hiding just beneath the surface, waiting to shatter everything. Halfway through the reception, while fairy lights twinkled overhead and my brother sliced through his wedding cake with his bride, Alina leaned in close and whispered words that immediately twisted in my gut. "We have to leave. Now!" Her voice wasn't playful. It was tense, tight, and almost shaking. I turned toward her, confused. "What? Why?" I asked, trying to read her expression, but her eyes weren't on me. They were scanning the crowd, and her grip on my wrist tightened slightly. Not enough for anyone else to notice, but enough for me to feel something was deeply, dangerously wrong. "Alina," I said quietly but firmly, trying to keep the worry out of my voice. "What's going on?" She looked at me, and there was something in her eyes. Fear or guilt, I couldn't tell, but it was real. The kind of emotion you don't fake. The kind that sends a chill through your spine before the truth even lands. "I can't explain here," she said. "Please, just trust me." That's when the music started to fade. My mind sped up, questions rushing in. What could be so urgent that she needed to leave her brother-in-law's wedding? And why couldn't she tell me? Then I saw him, a man near the bar, tall, sharply dressed, glass of wine in hand. But it wasn't his appearance that stood out. It was the way he looked at her. Not like a stranger, not even like an old friend. It was personal, intimate, familiar. "Alina, who is that?" I asked. She didn't respond, just whispered again, "Please, let's go." But it was too late. He was already walking toward us. Her hand dropped from mine. Her body froze. And in that moment, without a single word, I felt something inside me break. I had walked into this night proud and in love. Now I was standing in a space where my wife was silently unraveling before my eyes. The man stopped just feet away from us, and the entire room, the laughter, the dancing, the clinking of glasses, became background static. He didn't look at me. His gaze stayed on her, unwavering. No apology, no hesitation. Just that smug, quiet look that told me everything I needed to know. "Alina," he said calmly, "you left without saying goodbye." That one line cut deeper than I expected. I turned to her, waiting for denial, some explanation, anything. But her silence screamed louder than any confession. Her lips parted, but no words came. She didn't even try to lie. That was the part that truly gutted me. "Who is he?" I asked, my voice sharp now. "Alina, answer me." She finally looked at me. Her eyes brimmed with unshed tears, not from grief, but from the weight of holding a secret for too long. "I knew him before you," she said quietly. "It was over. I swear it was over." The man chuckled dryly. "Over? That's funny. You were at my place 3 weeks ago." And just like that, everything in me sank. I stared at her, still hoping she'd correct him. Tell me this was all a mistake, a misunderstanding, that she didn't know he'd be here, that this wasn't what it looked like. But she didn't say a word. She just looked down, ashamed, and whispered, "I didn't think he'd show up." That's when I knew. This wasn't coincidence. She had known. She had feared this moment all along. And it wasn't about protecting me. It was about avoiding the consequence of her choices. The entire night began to blur. The vows, the celebration, the joy. It all vanished, replaced by a cold numbness as I realized I had been standing next to a woman I no longer truly knew. "I trusted you," I said, the crack in my voice betraying me. "You looked me in the eye. You smiled at me. You kissed me, like nothing was wrong." Her tears came then, quiet and helpless. "I thought it was over. I didn't mean to hurt you." "But you did," I said, just above a whisper. "You already did." Around us, The party continued. Glasses clinked. People cheered. Toasts were made to love, to loyalty. Meanwhile, my marriage was dissolving right in the middle of it, unnoticed. I didn't say another word. I just walked away. I left her standing there, between me and a man I should have never had to meet. I didn't go back inside. I didn't look for anyone. I walked straight into the night air. Letting it hit me like a slap, grounded me in the pain that I couldn't run from. That night, I didn't sleep. I lay in the guest room at my parents' place, the wedding music still echoing in my head like a cruel joke. I stared at the ceiling for hours, retracing every moment, wondering how many I love yous had been borrowed from someone else. How many smiles she had given me while her heart was elsewhere. And still, a part of me wanted to forgive her, not because she deserved it, but because I didn't want to believe the life I had built was a lie. I didn't want to accept that the woman I loved wasn't who I thought she was anymore. The next morning, she texted me, "Please, can we talk? I made a mistake." I panicked. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I read it over and over, hoping to feel something genuine in the words. But all I saw was fear, not of losing me, but of losing the safety I had given her. That afternoon, I went to the apartment. It smelled like her perfume. The couch, the blanket she chose, the fridge full of sticky notes and inside jokes. It all felt like a stage set for a life we no longer lived. She was there on the couch, mascara smudged, eyes tired. She stood when I walked in. I didn't move toward her. "Just tell me the truth," I said. She nodded. It wasn't ongoing. It was once. I felt lost. I don't even know why I did it. He reminded me of something I thought I missed. But I didn't realize what I had until I almost lost it. I looked around the room, at all the little pieces of a shared life. And suddenly, none of it mattered, because trust, once fractured, doesn't rebuild the same way. "I don't hate you," I said, "but I can't stay." Her face crumpled. Maybe I had just ended her world. But I wasn't going to let her pull me down with her apology just because it arrived too late. "I'll move out. I've already spoken to a lawyer. We'll keep it quiet." She didn't fight. She didn't scream. She just nodded, holding herself together as I walked to the door. I paused, looked back one last time, and said, "You could have told me before you crossed the line. You could have just told me." Then I left. No slamming doors. No dramatic exit. Just the kind of silence that ends things for good. That night, I drove with the windows down, letting the cold wind wash over me like a reset. I didn't cry. Not at first. But somewhere between the long highway and the empty streets, I began to feel something I hadn't in a long time. Peace. Not because anything made sense, but because I had finally stopped pretending it did.